Gaines and Sean Robinson established in the middle, especially apexing to the end of last year. What's that like getting back around them, and what do you see from them as they work to carry that forward?
Well, it's good when you got veteran guys that know how to play the game, that has success in this league, that understand schemes, understand how to play off each other. So we got a close-knit group like how we got. Obviously, you feel a lot more comfortable going out there with them guys, knowing that they're going to be where they need to be, and they can help you, to get free and make things happen. So we got a great group. We got to continue to lead, continue to get better, and continue to push each other. So.
To see Matthew Stafford throwing passes again, is that kind of reassuring, or did you ever worry about his elbow, his arm at all?
No, I knew he'd be great. He's a tough guy, so I knew he'd be ready. So.
Earlier this spring, when you were thinking about what your future would look like, did you ever think about what you might be doing right now if it wasn't training camp?
No, because I'm here now, so that's all that matters. Full football mode, locked in, and that's all that matters right now is, trying to do everything I can to get myself ready for football season. So.
Is it a different type of juice trying to get yourself ready to go once you've already won it as when you were trying to win it before as a group?
I think if anything, it motivates you that much more, because you got the experience that you know how it feels. So in my opinion, I want to do everything in my ability to try to relay that all over again. So I'm ready to put the body working, continue to do everything I can as a leader, as a football player to this organization, to do my part to help us win games, man. And right now we in camp, and it's a long process, start from scratch again. But like I said, I'm ready to work, and we're ready to grind, and trying to put ourselves in the best positions for the season. So.
There are a couple of younger guys too who took some steps last year in their development. What are you seeing so far? I know pads haven't gone on or anything like that.
It's the first day, so you really ain't see much, So obviously you're gonna be looking at them guys, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna make their plays, and any feedback that I can give them, I'll give them. So.
What's involved in turning the page, and is it? Do you kind of have to put the effort in to make sure guys realize, hey, last year's last year, or is that pretty much self-understood?
Well, it's a whole new season. It's a whole new team, so you can't live off what you did in past years. That's old now. Obviously it was an amazing accomplishment we did, but it's the past now. So we're in the future, and we're trying to do everything we can to get ready for upcoming season this year. So talking about the past ain't going to help us win games. Doing what we need to do right now, living in the moment right now, and that's what we got to do. So.
But do guys have to be reminded of that occasionally?
I hope not, because I think we got great leadership on this team, great coaches, and guys, tend to feed off what their leaders are doing and how they moving them. And when we got a bunch of guys like we got on this team, you tend not to worry about that. We focus on what we need to focus on this year. So.
Aaron, speaking of starting from scratch, you guys had great team chemistry last year, and really, since you've been here, the locker room camaraderie. What kind of things do you do in camp, focus on, and kind of bring that together here in 2022?
That's working together, studying together. Obviously, we're going to be around each other a whole lot, so you're going to get a lot of that. So just pushing each other, obviously, having an opportunity to be around each other every single day. You're going to get tired of them at times, but, it's a brotherhood, so just pushing each other, doing everything we need to do to prepare each other, compete, and get ourselves ready for football season. So.
How's Bobby Wagner fitting in so far?
Great. It's been good just having a guy that understands the game, a veteran guy that been playing at a high level for a long time. So to be playing on the same field as a teammate, it's definitely going to be good. So I'm ready to continue to work with him and see what we can do.
Aaron, this summer you mentioned Rob Havenstein kind of being under the radar guy in terms of leadership for you all. What prompted that comment, and what do you see out of him?
Well, he's a veteran guy that's been here, 8 years? So he's been with us for a long time, been playing football at a high level for a long time for us. And I think the way he moved, the way he worked, is the guys tend to watch that and follow that. And in my opinion, he's a leader. Obviously, being a veteran guy, he got that already. But in his room, he's the old guy now, so he got to take that role now when it's gone. So I know he's ready for that, and he's going to continue to do what we need to do to be the player he is and bring guys along. So
last year, this time, you guys are seeing sort of Matthew Stafford in some of these 11-on-11 team drills the first time, some of the no-look stuff, some of the manipulations. Now that you know what he can do, does that kind of juice you guys up on the defensive side a little bit?
No, we're going to compete against each other. Obviously, we're going to try everything we can to win and make our plays. Obviously, going to try to make their plays, and that's the best thing about camp because, you're going against ones and twos, and at times it's ones versus ones. So we get to compete against each other, push each other, get each other better, and trying to get ourselves rolling and get ready for football season. So,
All set?
Cool. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Hey, like anything else, there's a lot of work to be done. There's going to be a lot of really good things that we can correct off of, but great leadership, great communication, really like that part of it. I think the first thing, going back to the other day, we ended up not putting Ramsey on the PUP as a result of doctors cleared him in a limited fashion. That enables him to participate in a lot of the jog throughs, the above the neck stuff, and to be able to have him out here with his teammates with all the different things that we ask of him. He felt good about that. We felt good about that, and so I think that's what's best for our football team. That's why we kind of pivoted in that direction. It's good to get Matthew back out here. He felt good, just like anything else, whether it's Matthew or any of our other players, Aaron, Bobby, we're progressing these guys in the right way. Did a good job of getting a lot of work today, and we'll just continue to stack blocks. I know the natural inclination as coaches is always to want to really go as fast as you possibly can, but have a big picture perspective and want to be able to build foundationally the right way. But it was a step in the right direction, but so much work to be done, and love the group that we have.
Sean, to follow up on that Jalen point, having him able to do the above the neck work, especially with so much of his acclimation period being about that.
Yep.
Can you take us inside that conversation a little bit more, and what is it like having him out there?
Yeah, because really, if you put him on PUP, you're not able to participate in any of the football activities. You're restricted to just go with Reggie and his group. And, where Jalen's at, the doctors felt like we could clear him in a limited fashion. Anytime that you have a player of his caliber, and it's fortunate for us that it's an upper body, injury, because a lot of the stuff you're still moving around in your lower half. So there were some unique parameters that enabled us to take that approach. All the different things that we ask of Jalen, the different communication that's required. He felt good about that. Raheem, defensive coaches, and that's the step that we'll take, and we'll continue to just take it a day at a time and kind of have a specific plan for him, which I think is a smart thing.
I noticed Matthew didn't throw in some drills, and then towards the end he did. So is there a limited number of throws you'd like to have him attempt per day to kind of build up?
There's an element of, with all of our players like that, part of it is just based on, we might have been going with the second and the third group right there. So he was a full participant today. Like him, having as much experience as he does, we will continue to build him up. We're aware of what that pitch count is, but it didn't restrict him from being able to do anything today.
Coach McVay, how did Allen look today?
Excellent. He's just a pro's pro. I mean, this is, the one thing is it's a new setting for him, but it's not a new game, and he's been playing at a high level for a really long period of time. But really smart, really conscientious, all the things that we talked about in the offseason, Dennis. And it was good to be able to see him get out here. A couple great contested catches, being able to go up and high point the ball. And then really, you talk about, similar to everybody else in our receiver room, what Coach Yarber does such a great job of instilling in that culture, a guy that wants to compete without the ball the right way as well. So very pleased with Allen. He'll be the first to tell you there's a long way to go, but really excited about him. And it was great to be able to get Van back out here as well.
What was your reaction, emotion, what have you, when you first learned that, in fact, Aaron was going to be coming back to run it back?
Pure joy. No, it was, we had great dialogue throughout the course of the off season. And I think, like anything else, it's such a long process when you're able to play 21 games. And if you include the preseason, you're talking about 24 games last year, so many emotions. And so, when you reach that, when he had been working so hard to try to get to that goal, there's an exhale. I think you want to be able to let the dust settle, figure out what's important, what can we do to accommodate that if you still want to be able to play football. And really fortunate to have such a great owner. I thought Tony did a great job of being able to work in coordination with Todd France to get a deal done. And then, my dialogue with Aaron throughout the process, I thought was key to be able to feel good about it, but also understand what needed to get done to have him come back and lead the way for us.
And then kind of a follow-up, he talked about turning the page. I mean, You guys have all talked about turning the page. Guys like Aaron, guys like Matthew, veterans, how instrumental are they in getting that message to everybody and reminding guys that, hey, last year was last year?
I think it's key and critical. I think those guys that have done it for, at a high level for a long period of time, they know that, every year's a new year. There's so many changes from year to year, and to stay at the top, you can never let complacency set in. And so I think it's a huge deal to be able to have that kind of leadership. I thought that was one of the things that was right about last year, and then you add some other guys into the mix. You expect some guys to be able to step up, but when you talk about Matthew and Aaron in particular, those are great examples of guys that just go to work, don't let complacency set in, and You know, I always used to talk to my grandfather when he was a part of the 49ers dynasty when they won 5, and I asked him, you know, what did you think was one of the keys? He said, when your best players are the standard, that's kind of what everybody falls in line with, and I feel like that's very similar to what we have going right now.
Getting back to Stafford for a second, was there anything you saw today that made you feel reassured, or is there anything that you saw that made you feel concerned or worried?
Definitely felt really good. You know, the constant dialogue throughout the course of the practice, but then even leading up to this moment. And, you know, Matthew's got such great command and understanding of his body and how it really feels. And I think like anything else, you know, we'll work through some different things where you expect guys to be, you know, continuing to tighten up their game as we work through camp. But, you know, I thought he was at his best in some of the unscripted scenarios today. But like anything else, those great players, they'll always be finding things that they can improve upon. But I thought today was a good step in the right direction for Matthew.
With Coleman, you know, playing with right guard and center on the first team, you know, is that because he has experience and he kind of knows more of the team and all that?
Yeah, well, he's a guy that we have a lot of trust in. And so when you look at, you know, getting BA back, you know, making sure that we're smart with his rep count. He played so many snaps last year, making sure that he feels good and as fresh as possible going into September 8th. It's really a fortunate thing to have a player like Coleman Shelton who has started, who I really think can start at any of the 3 interior spots and perform at a high level. So he's going to get an opportunity to do that. Guys like Logan Bruss, but you know we're gonna really open it up and try to see what it looks like to find, you know, who's going to be that 5th player playing with the other, you know, 4 guys that are kind of established. But there's always constant communication and competition that we're looking for.
Sean, on that
Couple more
point
guys.
that Jim made earlier about turning the page, the core is the core, but there are also a bunch of guys who have some unfinished business maybe, or have that sentimentality entering contract years, taking over big leadership roles. How big of a factor is that specific psychology in maybe holding on to what they missed last year and knowing that they have a shot this year to do that?
I think it's a big thing. I think guys also have an appreciation, Jordan, whether it's, you know, you go back when we lose in the Super Bowl or you win, you don't just go right back to that position. There's so much work that's required to even just win a game, let alone get yourself in a position to be relevant, to play in the postseason. But, you know, the guys that you're talking about, I think it's great, you know, because part of that onboarding process is the way guys are wired here, to be able to respond the right way, to have an appreciation for the confidence that's earned, you know, the right humility when things go well, and the right resilience when we have to respond from adversity. And so that's a huge part of what's been right about our place. And so I'm really excited about watching a lot of those guys. And, you know, I'm sure, you know, we're thinking about the same exact group, whether it's the free agents or guys that have been instrumental parts of it that didn't get a play in that Super Bowl, like a Tyler Higbee, or you look at a Rob Havenstein going into a contract year, Nick Scott. So there's a lot of guys that I think this is positive motivation, and they're able to compartmentalize and handle those things the right way.
Sean, to go back to the pup list for just a second.
Yep.
Quentin Lake getting put on there, are you able to add any clarity to
You know, we just want to be smart with him. There was an idea that, you know, he had a knee that we wanted to be, you know, really careful with. And he's a guy that we love his game, love the way that he approached it. You know, you can see that, you know, he's a son of a great, you know, he's got a similar feel to what Van did when you study him, you know, with his dad being such a great player, similar to what Q is. But, right now, I think you're just taking it a day at a time for him. But if it is something where he's going to not be ready sooner than later, you know, that wasn't something that we're shocked with. But we want to be able to get him out here as soon as possible.
Sean, no food for Kyron. How's he doing?
He's doing great. You know, he's making good progress, Andrew. I would say he's a few weeks away from being able to get back as a full-speed participant. But I don't expect this or anticipate this to affect his availability, you know, for the regular season. I think, you know, right around that Cincinnati practice week is a realistic timetable to shoot for, get him a few weeks before, you know, training camp wraps up. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sean.
All right.
Thanks, Sean.
Hello.
Matthew, how did it feel to get out there and throw today? And then I assume you've thrown before entering camp. What was that sort of like?
Yeah, it was good to get out there today. Just kind of trying to progress back into it a little bit. That was kind of what my time between OTAs and camp was just kind of trying to progress and get my body somewhat ready to go and continue this process as we continue camp. So it's a little bit of a process, but just got to sit there and go with it.
Is it a little easier to be patient now when you're actually able to make some throws as opposed to the spring where you really want to do about the next stuff?
Yeah, definitely. It feels good to get out there. Definitely knocking some rust off and feeling feeling it again. But it's good to get out there and stress it a little bit and see how it reacts.
Throwing a pass to Allen Robinson, how was that like for you?
It's great. He's a really talented player. Got an up close and personal kind of chance to watch him when I was in Detroit and he was in Chicago. Really was a big fan of what he was able to do. He made some nice plays out here today. Just getting a chance to throw to him, even routes on air, all that kind of stuff is going to help us down the road.
You haven't obviously repped a ton in live stuff with him, but in terms of him and Cooper, just they're physically built differently. So what is that like as a thrower, knowing you have that timing already with Cooper, but how are they different? Like, how does it feel when the ball comes out of your hand?
Yeah, I feel like that just kind of comes with reps. Allen's a really intelligent player. I've been really impressed by his ability to, not only pick up what we're doing, X's and O's, lines on a piece of paper, but just kind of the nuanced stuff of what we're trying to accomplish on each play. And so you need to have guys that think like that and can play like that. It makes my job a lot easier. And then obviously he's a great, contested catch guy, a guy that when he's in traffic can make some big time plays. Was really close. Not sure if that one was completed or not today, but almost made a great play if he didn't on a fade ball down there in the red zone. So looking forward to a bunch of opportunities to get better with him during camp.
1 year under your belt with this team, how are you changing your approach, if at all, coming into this year?
Yeah, I'm just trying to build on it. Obviously had some success last year and want to continue my growth within the offense. Just trying to make sure that I can continue to find ways to be better, both physically and mentally. How I can help the guys on our team. If there's questions at the line of scrimmage, being able to make sure everybody knows what to do and get us operating at a fast pace. And then, I think the biggest takeaway for me personally coming out of last year is just doing everything I can to try and take care of the football as best I can.
Aaron said that he felt the off season was long. Did it feel short to you?
Who said that?
AD did.
Oh, he said he felt like it was long?
He felt like it was long. That's what he said, which surprised me. Did it feel like it was short to you?
I don't know. I mean, there was a lot going on for sure, with, the success we had as a team last year. But we're kind of like robots. We just get ready this time of year, no matter how long a break we had, and get ready to go and come out here and play.
You guys talk about turning the page. How important is it for the veterans and the leaders of a team to make sure that point gets hammered home and that everybody is on the same page?
Yeah, I don't think it's that difficult. I mean, you get out here and practice, we realize it's a different team, it's a different year. Just because we did something last year doesn't mean anything's going to happen this year. We got to go out there and earn it. And, those opportunities that we got to play in those games last year, were earned. And ask yourself, what kind of opportunities are you willing to earn? It comes with sacrifice and hard work and being a great teammate and all that kind of stuff. And we just sit there and you ask yourself that before you step out onto the field, motivate you, get you ready to go, and understand that everything that we, achieved as a team was earned last year. We're going to have to go out there and earn it again this year.
Apparently it was a big deal that you're now on Instagram. Is that...
Listen, I have no clue. I have no idea, guys. Just, you can ask me all football questions you want. Don't ask me about that. Thank you.
You got a team that does that, Matthew?
I don't even, yeah, sure.
Matthew, in the time that you've spent around Rob Havenstein, what have you learned about him as a player and a leader?
Yeah, great player. To be honest with you, when I first got here, or when I was coming here, got traded here, I wasn't ultra familiar with him as a player or a person, but just incredibly impressed, not only in his physical ability to go out there and do what he does on game days and practice and all that, but just who he is as a professional. He spends so much extra time with young guys that he's trying to teach and bring along. He works on his craft tirelessly, and it shows up on Sundays. And he's a great teammate, fun guy to be around, great for that room, great for our huddle. Really looking forward to hearing more of his voice and in his comfort zone like he always is, and just go out there and have some fun playing with him.
Matthew, can you talk about the chemistry you're building with Alan right now?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're doing. That's what this is for. It's not to come out here on day one and be absolutely perfect. There's going to be plays you want back, throws you want back, all that kind of stuff. We're just learning to come together as a team, and I'm learning him and he's learning me as individuals and how we fit in this offense and how it's going to look. But I know what kind of worker he is, what kind of attitude he has every time he steps on the field. It's business. It's time to go out there and find a way to get better, and that's fun to be around.
Matthew, as your workload ramps up with your arm and throwing and all that, is that a template you guys are using, or just kind of a day by day how you feel? Or
yeah, I mean there's a little bit of something that we have down on paper, but it'll be fluid, I'm sure. Okay. So we'll just go from there.
And is there, to that question, is there a specific deload process to that too, in terms of after consecutive practices that you're able to share at all?
Well, I think we kind of do that as a team, to be honest with you. We kind of go ramp up for 2 days, have a deload day, do another big day, and then an off day. It's kind of our program. We can get Reggie Scott up here and tell you all about it, I'm sure. But that's kind of what we do as a team. I'm kind of following that at the moment, and we'll see how that goes.
Is it easy for you to be patient as your workload ramps up, or are you kind of impatient, going, I want to get out there and just do it all?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. It's an interesting thing trying to have a little bit of governor on there, and at the same time just trying to be as smart as I can. So it's a process. Gonna have to sit there and work through it, trust it, and we'll figure it out as we go. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.